the screen.
Yeah, you just go online and then Kate will go. All right, we're back with another episode. Welcome, everybody. I don't know who's out there, but if you haven't seen us already, we've been on 2 live streams. It's crazy. This Bolt Hackathon has grown exceptionally. We're almost at 100,000 signups. So close to 100,000 signups. We're already the world's largest hackathon with like $1 million in prizing from various sponsors, as you can see in my background. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're here to get you some advanced tips that we're both technical from our last stream, but now at this stream, we're actually going to go a recap as well as cover some more advanced topics that generally isn't really seen. We're going to teach you how to grow your socials. We're going to teach you how to get clientele. We're also going to tell you why Bolt is the right choice for an experienced developer. Now we're going to go into all of this nitty gritty, but who are we? Thought I'd start with an introduction. My name is Petros Hong. I am a vibe coder. I've started this journey about like 8 months ago, and I've loved Bolt. I saw that they were doing this hackathon, so I signed up as a mentor. And since then, it's just been so much fun. I'm so blessed with this opportunity to get to present to you guys, get to show you some amazing minds like Emil, who's my partner in all this. Emil is a senior automation engineer. He's talked to you so much these past few streams. I don't know if you're joining us for the first time, but we covered PRDs. We covered so much advanced topics, but also some basic topics, which we'll definitely shortly get into. One of the things we want to do is make sure that you're set up for success when it comes to submitting for this hackathon. We want to see you win this hackathon. And if you're a viewer right now and you win this hackathon, please give us a shout out. We want to know if this has helped you. If Emil's like PRDs and all these things have like assisted with that, we want to definitely see it. Definitely for the one shot, Emil. I can't imagine anyone wouldn't like look at your PRD structure and go like, wow, this would be amazing for the one shot. It's so beautiful.
Gold.
But yeah, with that being said, I want to go right into it because we have a lot of topics to discuss, as well as so many guests that'll be joining us shortly. But you know him, you love him. Always available on the Discord, on the Bolt's Discord, which we can be sharing this live stream for that, the links for that too. But if you haven't already, Emil, my co-host, my friend, we'll be talking about. So let's talk about first who you are in case you're joining us for the first time, and let's talk about some of the recaps. What have we learned so far?
Hello there, I am a senior automation engineer, and we are quickly going to recap on our last 2 episodes we did. The one was a private stream, and the other one is available if you want to do a full recap and a deep dive on advanced PRD project management. So we're quickly going to recap on our previous stream where we built a to-do app landing page with advanced project management documentation for your PRD. So we're going to quickly run through that. Petros, we can get my screen up. So we've shared a advanced PRD project management prompt, which will split your project into various stages. And what we've done here is just a very quick overview on putting in your PRD and then stepping through all the various mechanisms that allow a document-based project management solution. So all of these steps, we'll share the prompt again. I'm pretty sure we'll find a way if there's demand for that. These steps allow you to go through a phasal project management flow. So you allow Bolt to actually go through step for step, help it focus, and we've even snuck in a little marketing plan here so you can start thinking about how you're going to launch your site. So when we look at our document ecosystem, we've got our PRD, we've got phase project planning, we've got a memory management system, we've got change management for change logging, all the technical documentation required, API documentation, and then we've also asked it to create a future enhancements file, which is great for all those ideas and finding out all the things that you didn't think about, or if your prompt or the model is over-engineering, it puts all those over-engineering thoughts in the future enhancement section. And then marketing strategy and data schemas. So when we go have a look at that, we will see that what it looks like in real life is it creates a docs folder, and then we've got all of our files created from the initial prompt, and it runs through all of these functions as it's basically operating system for your prompt. And what this does is create a project management layer from our initial PRD, and create phases. Now, these project phases can be used as stage gates, and every phase can have its own testing requirements. Uh, there's even a deeper dive to do somewhere in the future about how to deal with unit testing and make sure that every cycle of these phases are implemented correctly. So in yesterday's stream, we covered this whole process all the way through from our PRD. And we started this prompt with a PRD, a nice, very big, chunky PRD with a nice design system. And yesterday we built live a to-do app for fun, but I've actually gone past and tried to implement this now. But we have this, which was built yesterday in under an hour with that PRD and that prompt enhancement project management layer. So if that PRD has been intimidating, my suggestion is to go create a PRD in whatever tool you want. My favorite is Grok. And I pasted my PRD in here, and I simply asked Cloud to enhance this PRD in great detail, including backend portion and design system. So, but the trick is to make sure that you have an initial starting PRD that has significant details. Let's call it, it's got some muscle, it's got some bones, it's got some skin in the game, and maybe you want to have some design elements. So you've got an idea of what you want in terms of looks and colors and vibe. So once you enhance that, you will get a much more detailed PRD. And then along with our prompt system, we will be able to get all of the details required to build a more comprehensive project. So we have now created this as an example. All the details is in yesterday's stream, so we're not going to do too much more here. I'm going to hand it over back to Petros.
Yeah, so we're going to just quickly recap for those of you who are joining us for the first time, some of the topics that we covered. I know that we gave you the basics. So the first was a Zoom call where we covered the basics of how to get started on Bolt, creating your prompt, as well as being able to submit. But of course, if you are joining us for the first time, definitely check out the Bolt site, which will be available. We also have the Hackathon site. So for this event, if you aren't signed up, definitely recommend you to sign up an account because it's free, as well as being able to submit your project. Now, there are so many sponsors available, which we covered, and one of the ways to go about that is to utilize the API keys. I recommend, and of course there's many ways to go about this, connecting your project to Supabase, which is made very easy by your integrations button. There's GitHub integrations, and there's so much more that you can connect to that I definitely recommend you to do that. Now, once you're connected with Supabase, we talked about some of the deployment options, connecting your account to Netlify, being able to then submit your projects, and going over a little bit more about the Devpost, being able to make sure that you fill out the whole requirements. Now, I have to warn you guys, a lot of people make this mistake. They submit at the last minute, which is, of course, very risky. And I've done that myself too. Thankfully, this one hackathon I submitted, they gave us a 5-minute extension because so many people submitted last minute and they couldn't finish in time. Record your video, get your video done, get your project ready, and then of course make some edits as you need to, but it's better safe than sorry being able to submit your projects. Now, I know that there's some people were listening that there was like issues with Devpost, you know, how if they were to submit too many projects or if they had too many edits, Devpost would then temporarily suspend their account. Fear not, that's an automated response. That's something that all you have to do is message the Devpost team and they'll get back to you within 24 hours. That's if you're making like too many edits. So my recommendation for people, especially if you're submitting for the first time, take a look at the Devpost, which will have the links available here, being able to submit your project. And of course, we covered this in our last stream. If you haven't already, I'll find the link for that and share it. But you want to make sure that you carefully look at your submission. Make sure that it's completely filled out from title to teammates to project requirements, screenshots, as well as video, and then get that nice and ready early on so you don't have to fret around and make sure that you're running behind in regards to that. Now, we have a little bit more time left, so let's actually cover some more of the other information. Now, I know that PRD sounds very intimidating for a lot of you guys, and one of the flows that we covered in our last videos is being able to create your prompts. You know, you can create a prompt on Bolt, on the Bolt chat, say, oh, make me a pet site. But then you can also have the enhancement features, which actually takes your prompts and supersizes it. But one of the things that, you know, Emil covered is actually converting that prompt into Grok, enhancing that prompt. And from the prompt on Grok, going to Claude and enhancing it. But one thing I definitely recommend, and this is something you get better over time, is actually taking a look at your prompt. Read through what you're building, because the foundations of what you build now, especially in the early phases, will help you it'll set you up for success. And of course, one of the things we covered last time was the magic nine characters, 9 lines superpower. I'll put it in the chat right here. Here, let me just make sure I cover this. I'll put it actually directly in the YouTube chat. This is the superpower. Oh wait, it's too long, Emil. We'll have to send it in batches. But this is one of the things that we were able to achieve, and this is one of the reasons why Emil's website looks so amazing, is because we covered these grounds. It's really important to add this alongside your project, because with the PRD, it gives you a better foundation. Sure, the initial prompt might be a little bit more, take longer to build, but you'll want that. You want it set up for success. And one of the projects that Emil showcased covers that. Now we have a little bit more time left before we actually have some guests hop on. So we have a lot of guests hopping on. We have Tyler, a Discord moderator. We have Krista, who's a community member, a professional developer, talking about why we can use Bolt as a professional developer. We have Alex, who's going to be talking about social media and how he grew thousands of followers for his vibe coding projects like yours. And then have Shane talking about how we were able to utilize networking to grow your projects. Because we don't want you to just build your products. We want you to set you up for success. And that's what today's call is going to be about. And then of course, we'll have some other mentors hop in and some final checklists. But before we do that, Emil, we have a solid 4 minutes. I think you had like a website showing some of the checklists of the PRD. Let's just dive into that, because that is our bread and butter for these series. And I definitely want people to kind of get a better understanding of what we covered in that regard.
Yes, understanding the advanced prompting is highly beneficial. So we essentially are creating a project management suite for a bold new experience. So what we are trying to understand is how can we maximize our outputs on Bolt and minimize our token usage. Ideally, you want to be able to build and do rapid prototyping, rapid development. You want to maybe your boss has an idea before lunchtime. You quickly go and do a PRD. After lunch, that PRD is in the system, and before close of business, that you actually have a prototype that you can show and click. So I've moved beyond wireframes. I've moved beyond tools like Figma. Even though Bolt not new, you can import a Figma file. I personally I feel that the time to spend on prototyping directly on Bolt is basically creating your foundation to move forward. So when we do that better, we end up with a much more solid foundation. And this document foundation that we create is the backbone of your project. So a PRD is essentially a product requirements document. It's for product owners to understand all of the pain points and all of the development points of stakeholders, from the client to the shareholders to the development team to the project managers to the designers. Everybody operate with the PRD. So the memory management will help with focusing on current tasks, and our memory management works on a previous, current, and next task system. So we'll only be stepping through those tasks one by one. We create a backend documentation system, so we actually put all those thoughts down in the backend, which might not be in the PRD. The PRD doesn't have the nitty-gritty details. And then when we are exporting of API documentation, like any good project these days should have API documentation, you can hand that to other developers to enhance your project or do upgrades or integrate. That's what API documentation does. It enables a developer to integrate with your project. And then we've got a detailed project plan, which is an itemized list of all of the items in a phasal manner. So we've got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and each of those phases can go through a review process. They can be approved before you move on to the next phase, and they are basically micro targets, so that you can step through your process. And for the guys who's an agile and sprint, you can very easily turn this into an agile and sprint workflow. And then we've got a change log, which allows us to do proper change log management. This is great for picking up on a project again. So if you've lost context, or when you have duplicated a project and you've got a new chat history, you can ask it to review all of your documents in the folder, and it will pick up where it was because the change log will be the absolute backbone of all the tasks that's been completed.
Perfect.
And then we
Perfect.
and then
Oh,
we do
sorry.
a data.
Finish the
Oh,
last two. I cut you
yeah,
off.
they're always there, always there. Then we do a database schema, so we actually understand all of the tables need to be created, the columns and the data types. Also, the PRD won't necessarily have all the schemas because in bigger projects, these all become a lot of pages. The PRD will reference to the schemas, not necessarily contain the schemas. And then we have an enhancements file, which is that it's like a gold mine for ideas, where anything that you haven't specified will get dropped into the enhancements roadmap. So that's great for feature development. If you're out of ideas, that's a great place to go find ideas. If you want to pitch to your client feature upgrades, that's a great little space to go and find technical abilities within your project.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Emil. Emil will be hopping off shortly. He'll come back on around 10:50. We actually have Tyler, who is actually a Bolt mentor, Bolt moderator. Sorry, I misspoke. He's been here for a while. He's been helping people left and right. Could we have Tyler hop on to the camera? And Emil, if you could hop off, we'll have you back at 10:50, my friend. Hi, Tyler. How's it going? Oh, your mic's muted, sir. No worries.
No worries. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, and it's funny because like you didn't get it wrong. I'm all the things.
Yeah. Actually, Tyler is the OG mentor. He's been helping people nonstop, from way back when. He kind of set the grounds for us. And with Tyler here, I definitely wanted to have him on the call because we talked about the Discord. I keep mentioning it, but it's such a great community to be. And of course, Tyler, you should know that more than anyone. I'd love to hear more about who you are, and as well as tell us a little bit more about the Bolt Discord channel as well.
Hey, yeah. So my name is Tyler Hughes. I've been around Bolt since November, about a month after it launched. I did not know about it right off the bat. So I kind of got into it later than some people did. But I am a software engineer in my full-time job, and so I took a lot of what I know from my 8 years of experience to go and help others in the Discord community because not everyone's going to have the same amount of experience I do. And so the Discord community is community run, basically. So you have people like me in there who are not Bolt employees who are here to help you, whether they are just here as mentors for the hackathon or they've been around for a while or continue to stick around even after the hackathon. We're all here to help one another. When you get stuck with Superbase one integrations, or if you just want to, like we had the coding channel, if you are wanting to actually learn how the code works, we're here to help you as you go through your projects. Are you muted?
Okay, sorry about that. My little StreamYard has a tendency to go mute at times. So I'll just go into the chat saying all these people. What was the last one that did you hear me say? I mentioned Nico saying Tyler's the best. I'll just go down the list. Becky saying great to see you live. I mentioned the Augmenter from Explosive. Beverly Pelle, PhD, says thanks for being here, Tyler. Inko says Tyler with a crown. And then a lot of people are saying I'm muted. So sorry about that. But Tyler, this just goes to show how much of a presence you have in the Discord community. So we all thank you, including the mentors. And of course, if you want to meet and engage with people like Tyler, this is why the Bolt Discord is so available. We'll have the link available in chat, but it's the place to go. Even if you're like learning for the first time, a lot of people to hold your hand, especially for this month for the Hackathon Challenge. We'll have a lot of mentors guiding you and helping you. So Tyler, first of all, want to thank you so much for all you've done. And of course, just want to give a big shout out to you, sir. You've been a huge help for all of us. Any last words, though, before you hop off and we bring on Krista?
No, just don't be afraid to post in one of the channels. We have a few channels that are great for asking questions. Of course, there's a forum called Questions and a forum called Help. Don't be afraid to post in one of those if you want help with your specific problem. We have a load of people out there who are available either as the role bolters or the role mentor who are willing to help you out.
Perfect. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for your time. Tyler will be hopping off, and we'll actually have Krista on the stage, who goes as USMC Chick on the Discord channel. Krista, we have Krista and Tyler off. Thank you, Tyler.
See ya.
Hi, Krista.
Hi there. Like Tyler, I am a developer. I've been not quite as long as Tyler. I've been about since COVID is when I started coding. So before AI, and got that time to learn, and then really embraced AI as it came out, and just love it. And I found Bolt through the hackathon, and I have brought Bolt into my everyday coding life, and I love it. Absolutely love it. It helps, instead of having to, build the stack myself, it builds the stack for me. It builds the basics for me, and I don't have to, do the everyday stuff all the time. I love it, how much time it saves me. And it can do so much more than the everyday stuff. It does all the it can do some complicated stuff even. So it's amazing the stuff it does. Definitely, I'm not worried he's going to put me out of my job. Just, but it is so helpful for those of us who want to embrace it and absolutely love it.
Yeah, and that's such a good point. A lot of people are thinking that vibe coding and all these tools are just, if you don't know how to code, it's just for you. Or, if you don't know what you're doing. But actually, a lot of professionals use these tools to save time. Especially, I tell people this all the time. If they're already developers, I'm surprised you don't utilize the superpower. They'll just like 3x or 2x your workflow. So people like Krista are so important to that. And they're also a huge part of the community, always being on for this hackathon. Definitely want to shout them out. In regards to professional developers, you want to utilize these tools, especially if you know what you're doing. It just saves so much time. So as a professional developer, as someone who works for full time in this coding process, I'll have to kind of learn more. And this is kind of just a kind of impromptu question, but what would you say is, how would you best utilize Bolt? Like as a professional developer, what can you do to best utilize Bolt? You build it to integrate fast or all the above? Just any idea in regards to that part?
Just right now I'm working on a project. The original code is gone. The original is gone. So I just created, they wanted to see some implementations that can be made. So I just threw it into Bolt, and Bolt created a mock-up for me very quickly, and, and showed how quickly it could come to light, and showed how I could make the changes and everything without trying to dissect years of neglect in code and stuff. So, I mean, it can do, I didn't need to go through years of other people's code and code spaghetti. And I just said, Bolt, here, this is what I want. Give me that. And poof, there it was. So.
Well, we have a little bit of time left. Do you want to talk about the Bolt Discord? I know that you've been available, helping people, talking to people. You're actually Krista is a big important reason why we have Emil initially, because Krista was campaigning hard for Emil, just how much he's been helping people, and just want to give a quick shout out to Krista for that. But definitely would love to learn. Last minute, any last words in regards to your experience with Bolt as well as the Discord?
The Discord is a pretty awesome community. Just there to help people, yeah, that's what I like about. As long as there's a good community around, then I'm there for helping. So, yep, It's a great place. Check it out if you need help, or if anything else, or if you just want to come out and vibe and code with us.
Thank you so much, Krista. Krista will be hopping off. We'll actually have Alex on the stage, who's going to be talking about how to utilize social media as a superpower. Now, I think I have a line here for Alex. Alex, if you want to hop on stage. And then Krista, thank you so much again.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Alex.
How are you?
Welcome to the stream.
I'm glad to be here.
So, Alex, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that, okay, so some of you might actually already know Alex. Alex has a huge following on social media, utilize LinkedIn to actually grow his platform as well as to promote his products. That's something that I don't even know. So Alex, I think a lot of people will have so much value learning from you. So yeah, how's it going? Who are you? And what can people learn in regards to social media?
Yeah, so I'm Alex, and I started AI agency here in the Midwest in Columbus, Ohio, about a few months back. Been doing IT for many years and decided to this year was a good year to start vibe coding and testing all these new automation and low code tools. And so here I am, hang out in both quite a bit. And I'm here to talk about the social media stuff. I don't do a lot of different platforms, but I have a decent following on LinkedIn and was able to rapid grow my following over the last 3 months, just kind of sharing build and public projects.
So how did that translate into real wins? Now that you have a following, how would you say that you were able to convert that? I'd love to learn more about that process. Like, because a lot of us, keep in mind, we don't post on social media sometimes. We just like build, expecting people to just come on in. Like, tell us more on that front.
Yeah. So like LinkedIn, for example, it's a very favorable platform for commenting and engaging with people. So specifically on LinkedIn, I would say posting is maybe secondary, and engaging and commenting is the primary source of like activity. So what I call it, growing or feeding the algorithm. Kind of like giving yourself chances to be featured on the front page or pop up in more people's feeds by basically being active on the platform and engaging with people, and not just popping in the comments and saying like great or that's awesome or something other like kind of meaningless comment, but actually engaging with people and reading their post and maybe taking 2 seconds to reply something meaningful to their post, and if they reply, actually staying around for 10 minutes to engage with them and things like that. So that's I think the secret number one. And secret number two is you just build in public and kind of share your progress. And right now, a lot of people are very curious to see how these low code tools and these automation tools work, and what kind of real return on investment can people build with these tools. So there's a lot of eyes. There's a lot of, I feel like a lot of eyes from the large corporations, from Amazon, from Google. They're all looking and trying to figure out what we're doing here. And so attention is good right now.
That's such an important thing. And a lot of people who are watching, you might not realize this, but most people out there are not utilizing AI tools. A lot of people are behind. If you are ahead 8 months and ahead of them, you can offer so much information. You have so much knowledge for them to go. A lot of people are curious. And this kind of leads me to, because I know what you post, Alex. I've seen your posts. What do you post? What can you tell the audience, like, what do you post that gets so much attention?
So I try to do like either builds with local tools and then share those builds and kind of just create a story around it, and write a story around that build that kind of makes people to like, click that show more button on LinkedIn as they're scrolling on their phone, and then maybe they read the entire story and then they go into the post and they, comment or react. So in social media magic, those are kind of like, the number one important things. We live in this like very short attention span and everyone's scrolling down. So if they see an interesting story, people tend to kind of slow down and really read it. So I think storytelling about your brand, about you, about your history and where you come from and those kind of things can be really powerful, especially for like a new entrepreneur or a new startup just starting up. I mean, it's kind of like a free round raising funds, you know what I mean? Instead of you spending those funds on marketing and ads, you're just doing that for free yourself. And you also build trust doing that because people see you building in public. And sometimes those builds are not public, they are not perfect, and you may fail, but they still see you working and building and trying. And I think that builds a lot of respect in the community.
Yeah, I love the pool you do. Like, you'll show some amazing prompt. Like, here's how I did this. If you want access, comment AI or comment Alex is the best. And not that he wrote that, but I'll DM you this. That's a great way for retention. I noticed that's like the common trend for LinkedIn and those X and all that. So definitely look out. We shared his social links, but that'll give you advice as well. But Alex, thank you so much for joining. That was some great advice. Of course, people can learn more from you by following you, but appreciate that. And shortly, we'll have Shrey.
Having me, and had lots of fun during this month-long hackathon.
Thanks, Alex. And if you want to find Alex, he's always available on Discord. This is why this Discord community is so important. So you'll find people like Alex, like Tyler, like Shane, like Krista, like all the mentors that'll be hopping on shortly too. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. See you guys.
All right. We have Shane here. Hi, Shane.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. How's it going? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great. No, that's vibing away every day, right?
Absolutely. Now, we have Shane here, who's often on the Discord, but one of the topics we'll be covering is a lot of people don't know this. They don't know social media. They don't know, like, if they're a professional developer, whether they need to go into this. They don't know some of the PRTs things. But what Shane's going to cover is also superpower. How do you get clients? Now, you're building some amazing app. You're building, like, some, not only your apps, your services. You, as a vibe coder, as a developer, you're now like almost like a junior developer if you establish yourself and work towards it. But once you develop your skills, how can you get clients? So Shane, tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll dive into those topics.
Yeah, what's up? So I'm actually a tech service manager for an appliance repair company up in the North Bay area. And I started vibe coding at the start of the year. Purely back-end Python, some Rust and everything, and just made software that we needed for our old software that we use at work. Automate routing and just helping with scheduling and tools that I was taking time from my day. So I was like, necessity. Necessity is the mother of invention. I needed to make something. I made something. I saved myself an hour a day after, a weekend worth of work. And I was like, oh my God, I can do this. And so I've made tools for a couple different companies around the Bay Area. And my biggest thing that I've noticed about that kind of creation and that kind of ability is it's not as common as you think. Like, you guys are all in this space online and you see this and you maybe following people like Alex, who is awesome with that. But when you go out and you go to social mixers and meet other companies and business to business connections, they're not in this space. They do not know what the automation tools are out there. And like, if you really want to find clients, you got to go out and do a little bit of boots on the ground, go to a local chamber mixer, go to a, event, like they do them all. Most cities will have some kind of event. So most all my clients, I've been doing those things for years, for the trades company that I work for. And it kind of just spiraled into, oh my God, there's clients everywhere. Everyone wants something better, not just like a beautiful landing page. They want, how can they optimize their business and work life? And there's a massive opportunity that a lot of people online, like, take your skills, keep expanding it. The whole Bolt side and web app side was very new to me. My first web app was June 1st when I saw the hackathon and somebody invited me to get involved with it. And now I've learned the intricacies of DNS web hosting, and that is a nightmare, but it's fun to learn. So
amazing stuff, Shane. And of course, a lot of people are afraid to take the first step. And hopefully, hearing from Shane and hearing from the other people, post your first social media post, reach out to your first client, go to networking events, make friends. You'll be surprised how much actually need there is out there. Because the traditional route is, because I've been that route. I've been the one that spent thousands of dollars, waited months and months for like a landing page. Like, that's not what that's what's out there. And with tools like Bolt and with people like Shane, you're actually able to gain knowledge from the community, go on the Discord, get some advice, but also utilize these tools to kind of build your presence and actually get clients, get paid to do this. I actually have friends like Shane who actually make a full living doing this. They actually have a full company and all the above. But if you're afraid to take the first step building, check out Bolt. Creating social media products, reaching out to clients, we're encouraging you to take the first step. And people like Shane with this advice means so much. Shane, any last words before we hop you off? And thank you again so much.
Get in the Discord community and connect with people. Make yourself something first. Make your landing page. Get some business cards. Get something, and go out there and meet some people. And just they'll come in. They call. They email all the time. You'll find people. You'll find clients. Tone your craft and just knock it out of the park, guys.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Shane, for joining us. We'll have Emil hopping back on. But the topics we covered, Shane was getting clients, taking that first step, using social media as a superpower for growing your following, as well as Bolt for professional developers. We'll have 2 mentors who will be joining after this. But before we get the mentors on here, we have our lovely Emil here. And we're going to just give you a quick 10-minute rundown of, hey, the hackathon's about to end. What are some final checklists, Emil, that you think people should do before this hackathon ends? What are some of the like, we can just talk about some technical things to look into, some general, and of course, I'll chime in as well for that as well.
So we're going to quickly cover some of the recommended requirements, but I also want to talk quickly about the things that you might have forgotten about. And simple things like a favorite icon. Now, you might have completely forgotten about what a favorite icon is. And this little icon on the top of the tab is your favorite icon. It's a fav.ico. And there are a few ways to go and generate favorite icons, and you can really go spend too many hours trying to get a favorite icon to look as sexy as the bold one there. So what we are going to just quickly understand is the things that aren't necessarily part of the project, but is definitely worth considering. So on the favorite icons, one of them, there's favorite icon generators online. I've before even asked Bolt to generate me a favorite icon straight in the prompt. It's done it before, and it would generate the favorite icon for you. So that's also possible. If you want to do more brand specific, then you can go the route of generating your own favorite icon. But that's quite important for the guys who's doing apps. I think you've got an app icon that you have to concern yourself with. So that's a little bit different. And then when we are sharing on social media, when the link previews, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it, but when the link previews, we can ask Bolt to, you take a screenshot of your page, or you can go design something, and then you can say, place the attached image on as a OG image. So that OG image tag is what gets used to populate your social media preview card. And that's quite important. When you want to share your links to social media, you want to have an impressionable image that populates in the post. So that's quite important, because that's not part of the rules here, but that does help polish your site. So those are two quick hot tips for things to concern yourself that might have been elusive. There's a favorite icon and OG image. And then we're going to quickly jog through this post, which was posted 16 hours ago, which is a great summary on the checklist on what's required for submission. So are you creating a new application primarily built on Bolt New? Now, it needs to be started on Bolt. It needs to be built primarily on Bolt, and then it needs to run on Bolt. There are very few exceptional cases where that doesn't apply, like the Devit app is a little bit tricky. That one off the bat, I believe, doesn't work on Bolt, and just for the Devit challenge, that's a Devit one. But otherwise, it needs to run on Bolt. And then you have to add a badge. I know there's a tool floating around on the internet somewhere for a badge to make it easy to add the badge, but that's one I see a lot of people are missing. I've seen a lot of sites without an official badge. There's a link there if you need to do it. And then, have you recorded a video? That's actually part of the requirements. How sexy is your video? That also matters. Is it coherent and shows your app working? Or is it just screenshots? Are you actually doing a click-through? So you can be creative in this space, very, very creative in this space. And then remember that any content over 3 minutes will not be viewed by judges. So we do have a cutoff on the video length as well. And then did you submit the project on Devpost? Your project should show as submitted and be eligible to include. So you need a publicly visible link, which normal guests can visit. You need to add your Bolt project link, which is this base of Bolt, and then your unique project ID, which all needs to go in. You need a text description. And then for the challenge specific areas, you're going to have a drop down selection to choose what challenge are you entering for. And then you need to also, if you're in a team, you have to add all your teammates and remind them to accept the invitation so they're listed on the project. So, and the final tip here from the official hot tips is champion level attention to detail, scrutinizing the judging criteria and official rules one last time. Even better, get a second set of eyes on your submission for that extra gold medal edge. This is your moment, make it epic. So all in all, we have to polish our submissions. Don't finish on 99.9. The lastminute.com premium subscriptions. It's not a good idea here to find out you've got a premium subscription for that. Allow yourself enough time to breathe and submit. And I myself, need to go through this last final submission process before we run out of time.
Yeah, and I'll be sharing my screen for some of the quick dev posts. But yeah, Emil, full disclosure, Emil isn't a mentor. He's actually just a community member, helping us out so much, giving us so much information about the PRD and more so. I'd love to show you on my screen some of the dev post submissions. So we covered some of the rulings for being able to submit, but what do you do after that? So of course, if you're joining us for the first time, of course, create an account on bolt.new, utilize the chat box for the prompting, and then sign up for the hackathon.dev for a lot of the requirements. This is where you'll see not only the due dates, but also some more information about pricing and more so. And then, of course, we're going to go to a dev post. Now, once you're actually submitting the project, and of course, as a mentor, I can't submit myself, but I'm going to just show you the steps for doing so. You're going to actually edit the project, and I think we briefly covered this as well. Make sure that you're aware that if your account gets temporarily suspended, you just have to reach out to the Devpost via email. It's more than available. It's just an automated system just to avoid any automated issues with that. But it's very quick and easy. Or if you have any issues, you can mention it on the Discord under #questions. So to get started, you can invite your teammates, and we covered this yesterday, but just the final steps. You're going to enter your project overview, project name, edit your thumbnail, elevator pitch, go into project details, talk about your project. And this is something we highlighted again. There's a lot of things to cover here, so don't do this last minute. Work on this today. Get a polished submission done early, so you don't have to run into any issues. You don't want to be a last day submission and then run into your account got suspended. Of course, like we mentioned, just email them. They'll get back to you in less than 24 hours. But if you do run into the issue, submit submit soon. Don't wait till the last day. It won't be fun. Trust me, from someone who's done it before. And Emil mentioned, we want your video to be professional. We want it to look good. Just showcase your website. There'll be more instructions here, but make sure that you list the type of, not only the URLs that was involved, but also the start creating the project, the challenges you're submitting to, as well as some of the other information, like which bonus prizes are you submitting to, and more so. And of course, you'll have your YouTube link underneath all this as well as screenshots and being able to submit. So before we close that, so I'm going to stop sharing screen there. Just to recap, and of course, we're going to have other people hopping on shortly. We'll have two of our mentors on. We want to just cover some quick information. Don't forget to submit. Don't submit last minute. You're going to regret it. Submit early. Feel comfortable. Make sure that you don't rush this. Be aware of the dev posting. I do want to highlight this as a mentor. We're seeing that question come up. It's just an automated thing. You could just message them, but this is why you don't want to submit last minute. We'll actually have Bolt was doing a lot of giveaways on X, so be sure to look out for them on their X account. And I hear Eric, the CEO, is going to be doing a huge announcement tomorrow, something to look out for, which will be insane. But all that said and done, we have all the tools available for you to succeed. Check out the Discord, check out people like Emil. But we're not done yet. We're actually going to have two more guests hop on the stage. If I can have, this might be a little early, but I want to make sure they have enough time to introduce themselves. And in the meantime, feel free to ask any questions you want in the chat. We have Emil, we'll have two mentors hopping in shortly, so we'll cover them. Can we actually have Tyler B. and Jorit join us on the stage? Tyler B. and Jorit are both mentors in this Discord hackathon. Amazing people, huge part of this. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Can you do a quick introduction? We'll start with Tyler B, and then we'll go to Jorit about who you are, and a little bit we'll take it from there.
Cool. Is my audio okay? Okay, cool. So I'm Tyler B, not to be confused with the other Tyler that spoke earlier, but I've been a mentor for the last few weeks on the Discord, and I've been using Bolt for several months, and I've built a lot of projects with it. And I'm not super familiar with coding, at least I wasn't, but I am a lot more now because of Bolt. I am learning a lot about how to build a React Native app, and I have built and deployed some apps that are actually being used by people that I serve in a business that I have just on the side, which is a gaming related business. And so that's been a ton of fun. And Bolt is just, I couldn't have done it without Bolt. I thought I'd have to pay someone else to build all this, and it's not going to be worth it. But I'm making money through that. And now I'm able to help other people to do the same. So it's been a ton of fun.
Perfect. Jorit, hi, welcome. Who are you? And tell us more.
Hey, yeah. Thanks for having me here. Really great. Well, I'm a community mentor as well, of course. I'm a DevOps engineer, so I know a little bit about code, but I'm not that much a front-end developer. So when I ran into Bolt, when I saw it the first time, like on X, I think in November, I was like, wow, now I can do all the front-end stuff I used to help other people with. Like normally I make the back end and other people make the front end. And now it's like, wow, I can do everything. I can do everything myself. So I just started some projects and I sold 2 apps to clients already. It's really great, and helping the community out makes you even learn more and more. It's really addicted. Uh, I've been in for hours and hours every day, like just helping. It's so great.
Perfect. And of course, I wanted to shout you guys out. I've been watching your comments on Discord. These guys work so hard. There's like nothing else for these other mentors to do. I'm just like, wow, Jordan and Tyler are already on it. So if they've helped you out personally, please do a big shout out. They're watching the comments. I'll be reading them out here. So if they've helped you personally, please shout it out there. Huge impact. Well, with that being said, of course, the reason why we brought them on also is because we want to showcase the access that you have on Discord for this month. We're close. I think it's almost done in 5 days. If you haven't already, if you're having issues with your project, hop on, ask questions. So many professional people putting this on. Shout out again to Monica and Kate for not only putting the stream together, but also setting up the mentorship program. So important, so good. Let's actually hop into comments because I didn't want to do this alone. And I thought I would bring the star players here to go over some of these like questions we see. So if you have any questions, hop in now, like common questions, anything that you want to go over. Well, okay, so let's start with this. Tyler Jorrit, what are some common questions you think people can just get answered while we're watching?
Yeah, for sure. So I think we get a lot of questions about Supabase integration related stuff because it kind of does require you to be maybe a little bit more technical, at least on the Supabase side. And so what I usually recommend to people is to go and watch some tutorials. If you're going to connect Supabase, especially this late in the game, go watch some tutorials about the Supabase side. So even if you just learn the lingo of the words that are used in Supabase, like what is a schema, what are the different tables for, you're going to be able to communicate a lot better with Bolt about how to implement the whole thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Supabase is surprisingly like I've actually helped someone. This is kind of funny. So I helped someone who was like, he made a huge post about like how bad Bolt was because it wasn't making any changes. I was like, oh, let's hop on the call. Let me see what's going on. He didn't connect to Supabase. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's probably your issue there, buddy. You'd be surprised how like how if you're watching this and you already know how to Supabase, you're probably ahead of like 80 to 85% of the population for some reason. It's so simple. Like, tools like Bolt helps make this happen. And people like Tyler and Jorrit make this happen too. Jorrit, what has been your best experience being a Bolt mentor? What was your favorite? And like, what do you think people should know after all the above?
Well, favorite. Well, there have been so many highs. Yeah, I think the most fun part is like going into Team Hackathon channel and just helping people out like in live sessions, because people drop in and drop out when you're in there, and you get into stuff really deep. I think the most fun stuff is helping people out with Expo, because then you have Supabase, Expo, and Bolt working together, and that gets really messy. So I think that's really fun to debug.
Yeah, absolutely. Monica Rozanska is saying, remember to share what you're cooking up here, bolt.new/gallery. Very important. If you guys are cooking some stuff, they want to see it. The social media presence on Bolt has been fantastic. They've been posting people's products. They've been making great announcements and doing a lot of amazing things in that regards. Definitely highlighted it again. Check out the Bolt Discord. We have shared the links a million times. But you'll also have links available of everyone who's came on stage, including our two friends here. So if you want to, follow them, keep track of their progress, be sure to follow all the above. I know companies saying, is 4 days are enough if starting now? Is 4 days enough to start? Like, can Bolt build something in 4 days? That's a lot. That's a short amount of time. George's nodding his head. I'd love to hear more.
Oh no, I just I think I built one project in just one day for a client, and it's just so easy. It's just telling it what you want to do. Like my wife is atechnical. She doesn't know anything, and she built a really great website in just a few prompts. So yeah, it's not too late.
Yeah, I'd agree. And one of the main things that's being judged on is the idea itself. So if you have a creative idea, Bolt is the ideal way to just bring that to life with some pretty looking website that actually brings that functional idea into reality. You know, I've seen some really creative things so far. So if you've got some kind of creative idea, or you can even just chat with ChatGPT or chat with the discuss mode on Bolt about your ideas and stuff like that. And then once you find a really good one, you can bring that to life in a matter of a day or two, for sure, and with dedication.
Yeah, the hackathon doesn't end. This might be the end of the Bolt hackathon itself. And of course, do all the submissions, all the tips we gave you. But you can always keep building on your own. Build these projects, reach out to clients, post social media, get all the above. So Tyler, Jort, thank you so much for all you've done for the Discord as well as the Bolt community. I appreciate you guys. If we can have Emil back on stage, we'll do some final closing. But Jort, Tyler, thank you guys so much.
Sure thing. Thank
Sure.
you.
All right, Emil, welcome back, sir. You're a busy guy. You know, you probably had like a mobile app to build in between the call. But Emil, it's been a wonderful episodes with you. You've shared so much information. If people have tuning in for the first time, I'll try to share a link of our previous streams. You covered the PRD, and this is after months and months of development. Now that people have the ability to build with social media, connect to Superbase, know to deploy, know how to post on the Devpost and their hackathon, and with some of the backend information that you taught them, would you say, like, for the final 10 minutes, definitely take us away. Any last words, any final advice you feel like people, even outside this hackathon, could take away to not only succeed, but also to thrive?
In context of Bolt.new, we have to understand that we're sitting on a new age and a new era of rapid development. And with that rapid development comes the ability that non-technical people can start stepping into a space that used to be highly technical. And having played with web architecture for a while now, it's not easy to try and go build a site by hand. It's really, and that's just the front end part or just the back end part. And then you have to make them all work together. So Bolt allows us to go and rapidly develop, go from idea to a prototype to having a foundation that you can go and put into development in a whole different way. And it's mind blowing to be able to go from I've got an idea to I've got something to show over a cup of coffee. And yes, there's complexities on bigger projects and you don't want to overdo it too quickly. But getting to an MVP stage is a lot more easier these days, a lot more. And I think we are on an age of a revolution, actually, because the people with the money don't have the ideas, and the people with the idea don't necessarily have the money. And the people that's got the technical skills don't necessarily have the time to go build everything out. And Bolt solves all of that together so nicely when you've got a little bit of the skills here and you can fund your project a little bit when it comes to server infrastructure and deployments and domains and all of the other little things that come up with deploying projects, which is not excessive fees, but you need to be able to afford some infrastructure. So once you've got a little bit of something, you'll be able to be in a position to get your idea out into the world. And I think we all have those sour thoughts, and maybe it's time to act on those sour thoughts. And it's time to go and go build that idea that might be fleeting, but it shouldn't be fleeting. Go write it down, put it in a prompt, and go build a PRD on it and develop that idea. Test it and share it with friends. And if it gets momentum, go build it out more. I think we're definitely in a stage where testing and validating idea is on a whole new playing field. And I don't think we fully understand what it means to build a landing page in the afternoon and have a waiting list up and having a Stripe account integrated to do early pre-sales. It's rapid idea validation. You don't need your MVP to start pushing your idea. What you need is a landing page. What you need is a good description of your idea and the vibe of what you're going with. And if people love it, they will commit. And when people commit, you've got a validation. You start setting a track record. And that's very, very important. You can have the best idea, the best site, and if you don't have it validated, it will take quite a bit of momentum to get that ball rolling. And I think that's also testament to how big is the ball that you need to get rolling. And the smaller the ball is to get rolling, the easier it is. So focus on your core product on your MVP, absolute core. Get that out there as quickly as possible with a waiting list. And if you have the ability to integrate Stripe, which not everybody has got a geographical presence on the Stripe platform, you can use other payment methods. But if you can get to setting up a very quick single-page checkout for pre-sales, which you can honor with your first MVP feature, you'll be able to understand the dynamics of going into marketing your idea, because distribution is the next big challenge. If you don't have 100,000 followers and you've got 100 or you've got 500 followers, it's really tough to go put your idea out in a post and you've got 2 likes. It's disheartening. I know how that feels to go put something out in the wild and nobody wants to go for it. But meanwhile, it was maybe just in the wrong segment of the wild. So there's a lot of places to go and promote new startups. There's a bunch of small business directories aimed at vibe coders and start now. If you go do a bit of Googling, you'll find them. If you get into the communities like the Build and Public community and the startup communities, you'll find the people that are promoting these channels to make distribution easier. So it takes a little bit of time to get that initial presence, call it your presence, going. And with that presence is a new Twitter account, X account, or it will be a new Instagram account. So with that, building your presence and building a following so that you can build your own distribution on your own platform, it takes a bit of grovel. It takes a bit of time to build that following list. But that is where the gold is sitting at the moment, is distribution with a validated idea. And once you got that going, it's a 4-way.
Amazing news. I think during our call, and it's of course probably not because of our call, but during our call, I think the project has just reached, this world's largest hackathon, just reached 120,087 participants. So congratulations to the Bolt team for that accomplishment. Not only is the world's largest hackathon, you've reached 120,000 participants. If you're watching this, you are part of that as well. Emil and I are not Bolt employees. We're just huge fans, and Emil being a community member, being able to submit so much projects and give you so much advice. I, as a mentor, it's been our pleasure, and everyone who's been on the stream, it's a pleasure to help out during this month. Shout out to the mentors. Shout out to Kate and Monica. If you are in the chat, please thank them for putting this all together. It takes a lot of creativity, a lot of patience to allow this to happen and setting up the mentorship. So thank you to the Bolt team. Congratulations to all of you for taking that first steps, whether it's submitting your first hackathon project, whether it's writing your first line of code, submitting your first prompt, creating, going to your first networking events, reaching out online, getting to meet people, or even like asking your first question. You're taking that first step, and that puts you above the rest. So it's been our pleasure, Emil and I's pleasure, to be a part of this Bolt Hackathon and to present to you guys. We hope this series has helped you. If it has, please feel free to follow us. And we give a huge shout out to the Bolt team for accomplishing this. Emil, any last words before we close this off, my friend?
It's been an absolute pleasure to be involved in the hackathon and assisting people and growing the community. Absolute pleasure.
Perfect. Well, we're going to end this a little early. We want to give you guys time to go back to coding, get back to work, use the notes that we shared with you guys. So good luck, everyone. Remember, don't wait till last minute to submit. Get it going now. Feel comfortable and use all the tools. Check out the previous stream where Emil talks about the PRD, some other streams that we talked about, the Superbase, Devpost, and all that. But we wish you luck. Take that first step. You got this. Signing off on my end.
Good stuff.
Bye.